Since it is late summer, we're bringing up an emergency preparedness plan no one talks about. It requires a different kind of battle. Horticulturist Sheriden Hansen is here with a new gardening term, at least to me. We're firescaping.
We're firescaping. We are landscaping to have a beautiful yard,
okay,
but also to be fire-wise and fire-safe as much as possible.
Wow. This is very thoughtful.
It is, and you have to put a lot of thought into it. So there are a few things that you want to think about, and it's plant placement, how to zone out your landscape, those types of things, so that you can plan for this and, you know, really kind of mitigate that danger of fire.
And how much mitigation can you do? I mean, how effective can this be?
It can be fairly effective. So basically you're giving, if there was a fire and it came up next to your home, you're giving firefighters a leg up, you're giving yourself time to get out, you know, you're slowing down that fire and that movement towards your house if you do it right.
Are you seeing, I mean, certainly I have to imagine it kind of depends on where you live, but are you seeing more and more people interested in this?
We are, and especially as, you know, we continue to build and grow and we move up on the foothills, there's a lot of interest in how do I protect my spaces from this potential threat of fire.
All right, hit me with a few facts to get educated. You say fire needs a few things to burn, we think of that.
Right, so we need fuel, we need oxygen, and we need heat. We can't do anything about the oxygen and the heat. It's just here to stay, but the fuel we can really kind of do something about. So that's thinking about what's gonna burn in my yard and in my landscape, and how can I suppress that a little bit and move it away from the house.
You encourage us to landscape in zones.
Yes, so we wanna have 3 zones, and anyone can do this in their house. It doesn't matter how big your yard is. But that first zone, zone 1, is what's called the near zone. It's 30 feet away from your house. You know, from your house to 30 feet away, and that's where we're going to kind of spread things out. We want our trees to be, you know, at least 15 feet away from the house, shrubs to be 3 feet away. We want to kind of give ourselves some space and a little bit of a break. From 30 feet to 100 feet, that's our zone 2, that's our mid zone. We still want to have things spaced. We don't want to have canopies of trees overlapping, because if you think about fire, it's going to leap from canopy to canopy on our trees. So we want to give them a little bit of space if it's possible, and, you know, just kind of spread things out so it doesn't move so quickly. And then we have that transition zone where we transition to the native landscape. If the foothills are near you, or if you have a park by you or an open field, that's where that transition zone is. We're going to prune, we're going to clean, and that's really important to kind of get some of that leaf litter and stuff off the ground so that we have that open space.
Talk to me about some of the plants within those zones you described so well. That graphic was helpful too, that can make a difference. Starting with perennials?
Yes, so perennials. We've got a bunch of perennials, and a lot of them are natives. So if you think about it, these plants evolved in a place where fire is prevalent. So they burn a little bit less. We've got things like penstemon, yarrows, daylilies, lavenders, even yuccas. And think about the succulent leaves on yuccas. They're not really woody, they can store a lot of water, same with the sedums, things like that. So that's gonna kind of slow the fire. They're not huge plants, they don't put on a lot of woody growth, so they don't burn hot.
Let's talk shrubs. I feel like this could actually be a dangerous
It can. So when we look at our shrubs, we're thinking more about some of the native shrubs. So chokeberry, serviceberry, chokecherry. So this is a chokeberry, which is a smaller form of chokecherry. Lavender is another good example. So you can get lavenders that are hybridized that are much smaller if you still want that look and feel. And then things like currants. So currants are native to Utah, same with serviceberry, chokecherry, and they burn a little less. They don't put on so much woody growth and don't drop so many leaves.
All right, and trees on your list: maple, birch, redbud, poplar. What are we looking for in a good fire-wise tree?
We are looking for a smaller tree, so something that's not so large. Remember that conifers burn more and they're more susceptible to fire than a deciduous tree that drops their leaves. Yes, they're drier, they have sap in them, and they just tend to burn a little bit more. So kind of steer clear from those if you're in one of those areas. And look for smaller selections.
And besides choosing fire-wise plants, what else could I do today?
Oh, so many things. Get out, clean up your yard, clean out your gutters, clean up your roof, prune. So anything dead in your trees, you can take your pruners to and clean up, and make sure that you are maintaining a well-manicured landscape that doesn't have that potential to burn. You know, and then just think about those plant selections, look for those things to put in your yard, and think about spreading things out. So.
Oh my goodness, we're all going to be looking at our landscapes, I think, with a totally different lens.
Different, it just kind of tweaks your point of view.
Yeah, smart. All right, we're celebrating because up at the Botanical Center, you host one of the very first fall events of the season.
We do.
You're prepping for the Scarecrow Walk.
We are. It starts next week. It starts on September 8th. It's free, open to the public, goes from September 8th to 18th. And September 8th is our Taste of the USU Botanical Center night. It starts at 5 p.m. that night. We encourage you to come out, meet the Scarecrow makers. They will be there on site with their scarecrows.
How fun.
And we have great sponsors this year, so it's going to be a blast.
I can't wait to bring the kids. All right, it starts September 8th.
September 8th. And go to
Okay.
scarecrowwalk.usu.edu for more info.
Okay, got it. Thank
Okay.
you, Sheriden.
Thank you.